Dogecoin looks like it's forming a bear flag on the daily time frame. We have resistance, resistance, support. We didn't really get support. We got a little bit of support right here, but I would say this is the bottom anyways. So let's go ahead and draw those trend lines. We have the top like this, and we have the bottom something like this. I would say just this bottom in general, I would say is using as support. But if we break this to the downside with some momentum, if we get some volume candles, we might be looking at a bear flag trading pattern, and we can target from the top to the bottom of the flagpole, and then drag that to the breakout, and we'd be looking at a target of around, I don't know, I've done this a couple times and I keep getting different targets. The first time I did it, it was 10 cents. Right now it says 0.09403, maybe because I was using this smaller target, something like that, from this candle town, these two candles. This one lines up more with that 10-cent area, 0.09952. So I'm kind of curious if this is gonna come, if it's gonna work out like that. But the other thing I was looking at is, let's go ahead and we'll put a price label on that one just to kind of keep that like that. That's one possible scenario. And then we also have support right here and support right here, or actually not support, but it wicked down, and then it wicked down right at these levels. So let's go ahead and draw a trend line right here. I'm wondering if instead of going all the way down, we hit this trend line and get a bounce on it. Like, let's say we break this going to the downside and then do something like that. I wonder if that'll hold support, basically. So the other thing I was looking at is I had my limit orders set right here, and the way I got to this scenario is we had this run up like this. We started getting resistance and we started going down. In that situation, I like to get the Fibonacci retracement tool and drag from the bottom of the trend to the top of the trend, and that gives me Fibonacci levels to watch. And the next one on the way down is basically 14 cents, 13966, or no, the Fibonacci level is actually at 13898, and it tells you right here, and then 618, that's the 61% level, 50%, 38%, and 23%. Yeah, so I like trading on these levels just because there's a lot of times we'll get bounces on them. So I like kind of just making sure I have a position at those so I can play the next bounce. And this other limit order that I had at 12743 was this previous bottom here, because a lot of the times when we have a previous bottom, we'll come down and get support on it, and sometimes the next time we'll come down and get support on it again. So it's possible that we can get a bounce right here as well. But but we also have this trend line right here. I'm wondering if this will hold support and maybe just push us to the upside. This kind of lines up with the Fibonacci retracement level. If we slowly crawl over here and then hit that level and then do something like that, maybe something like that will happen. But if we break that as well, then there's not much else that's really, I mean, you can argue this area, like I was saying, this previous bottom, if we break this, then maybe we could come down and hit here and get a bounce. But if we break there, then it's going to be a little bit more bearish, and we can maybe start looking at this target of around 10 cents is my opinion. I mean, you can go back and kind of look at the previous tops. This one is sitting at 107, 105, 111, pretty much. And so yeah, I mean, those are other possible levels. 111, that's interesting. That's somewhere around the 78% level of the that Fibonacci retracement chart. So yeah, those are some levels on, and this is the daily time frame. So yeah, in general, I would say there's a couple downtrends that we have to look at. We have resistance, resistance, resistance. I'm going to draw some trend lines from those until we break these trend lines right here. Then we're going to be, it looks like, I mean, it'll be pretty much bearish. If we, let's say it like this, once we break these trend lines going to the upside, then we can start getting more bullish. So yeah, it looks like there's a trend line right there. And this is on the daily time frame, but Dogecoin has been moving fast. So let's take a look at the smaller time frames, because that is another thing that I've been doing. Let's go ahead and go to the 1 hour time frame. And I was watching this triangle pattern earlier, but I didn't make the video on it. Oh, I was looking at this little bear flag right here too, actually. Let's zoom in. And let's go ahead and delete these, because these are on the bigger time frame. But so in the bigger time frame, in my opinion, it looks kind of bearish, but let's see if we can find some bullish signals on the smaller time frame. And like I was saying, it kind of looks like a actually the bottoms are down here, right where that bigger time frame trend line is. There's this bottom, this bottom, this bottom, this bottom, and we just came down and basically are hanging out right at that bottom. We're basically testing it. The other thing I was thinking is there's might be another little bull flag or bull pennant, because we had a nice little drop. The reason I say the reason you can kind of see it is because this big, like, it's just a pole. It's just like this nice, or it's just this thing, straight candle down, pretty much just a couple candles down, and it forms a straight line pretty much. And then after that you get consolidation, pretty much going sideways, and sometimes it'll form a trend line like that, or sometimes it'll do like kind of like a triangle pattern, and it kind of does it in different ways. So yeah, I mean, if it breaks this going to the downside, then we would be looking at a target from the top to the bottom. Same thing. The bear flag would be, I don't know, you could argue, I would argue something like that, right in the middle. I wouldn't want to take it all the way down, because this candle didn't go all the way down like that. Let's go ahead and drag that to the breakout. If it broke out on this line right here, then we'd be looking at a target of around, in the short term, 0.1355. The other thing you could argue, though, is there's a bottom right here, and if we can form a bottom right here and get bounced to the upside, that'd be a double bottom, which is a reversal pattern, and could form which is also a W pattern. We would have to break the downside. We'd have to break this trend line right here, break that to the upside, and then break this top, boom, forming that W. Then when we break out, that'd be a pattern, a W pattern, and we can target the top to the bottom of the W, drag this to the breakout hypothetically, and then we can start bouncing back to the upside. So yeah, it really depends on what we do right now. We're gonna bounce on this trend line right here, this bottom on the 1 hour, boom, or are we gonna break through it and break some other levels as well? And let's see how much steam it does when it does break it, because it's been faking me out, at least lately, on this time, well, just in general. So I think that's the other things that I'm looking at. I'm still basically targeting the Fibonacci level, though, and the previous bottom for now. If we start breaking those with more momentum, then the next target down that I'll be looking at is 10 cents. Hopefully it doesn't have to get that low, but I don't know, you never know. And maybe that W pattern will come into play, you know what I mean? I mean, it, like I said, it's a double bottom until it breaks it. It looks like it's getting support right now. We're on the 1 hour time frame. It looks like we've already let's see how many candles we've already closed on this. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, around there when we started coming into contact with this one already. So let's see if it can hold support and bounce to the upside and do what I was talking about. Yeah, I think that's about it, though. Thanks to my Patreons. If you guys want to hit up my Patreon, it's cool. I can answer questions on there as well. All right, if you guys like the video, hit the thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.